Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 16th of May, the first important news, that is campaign to promote reuse and recycle of the item. We'll see the detail about the recent campaign that has been launched by the central government. Second, Indian Railways to overhaul the signage system. Third, from the Indian Express, the new Alzheimer's drug. This is from the explain page of the Indian Express. Second last, India's trade deficit in April fall to lowest. And the last is an editorial. A court recalls that impacts the right of an accused. This is with concerning the part of the right to pay. Now, apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. And if you're looking forward for integrated test series, we at Apti Plus has come up with the integrated test series that include 30 tests for prelims and 8 tests for mains. Some other features include free mentorship, free IS Gazetted magazine, there's flexible date and schedule for the students, and test on PYQs, current affairs, CSAT and full length will be also provided. For more details, do find the details in the description section where I provided a dedicated link to register yourself and get further details about the integrated test series. Now, starting with the first news, that is campaign to promote reuse and recycle of the items, something relevant for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic of General Studies, that is government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So recently, the Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister has launched a campaign. The name of the campaign is Meri Life, Meri Swachh Shehar. Right? So this is a campaign that has been launched, and it aims to promote the reuse and recycle of the old product like clothes, shoes, toys, and books. Right? And even urban India is increasing, adopting a principle of making wealth from waste, with citizens actively reimbursing the old item for reuse. So definitely these part and this kind of idea will definitely call for more reusability, and even it will inculcate the refurnished market to a larger extent. It will give impetus to the overall zero waste system under the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. The campaign will actually be cumulative on first World Environment Day, that is on June 5th. Now there's a initiative or there's a center that will be there that is known as RRR Center. This RRR stand for Reduce, Recycle and Reuse. This center will be launched nationwide that the government has announced. This will be there on May 20th. The national-wide campaign aims to reduce even the part of reuse and recycle centers is a one-stop center that will contribute to the clothes, shoes, books, toys and other plastic items that can be recycled and can be reused further. So one point to be noted for prelims examination that this is under the part of Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0. There can be a direct statement stating the detail about it. Now, what is Swachh Bharat Mission Urban 2.0? So this RRR centers that will be set up is under the national campaign that is Meri Life, Mera Swachh Shehar, My Life, My Clean City under the edges of the Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. This will strengthen to resolve the issue of reduce and reuse and recycling products. The use of the clothes can be deposited to the one-stop center for repurposing, and individual institutions or commercial enterprises can also deposit this at Herbs, which is there at RRR centers, which will be operational from 20th of May. The item will be given to different stakeholders for repurposing and even to reuse and even use the new product for contributing to the circular economy. Now, what is the main objective and rationale behind this decision by the Union government? This objective and this campaign is to have a collective actions to protect and conserve the environment by adopting a sustainable daily habits. And the RRR initiative is a backbone for waste to wealth that has empowered many craftsmen, recyclers, self-help group, entrepreneurs, startup to recycle waste to basically part of the product that is there, and even to make it to the part of the circular economy, so that ultimately these products can be reused with certain processing and other manufacturing units. Now, moving to the other news, that is Indian Railways to overhaul the signage system. Something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is infrastructure, energy, ports, road, airport and railway. This particular news is also important for General Studies Paper 2, where government policies and other related issues are mentioned in the syllabus. So recently the Indian Railway has said that it will overhaul the part of signage system, that is the signal system, for better traveling comfort of the passengers, and on the basis of the fresh design and principle that Indian Railways are incorporating to improve the overall experiences. Now, up to 1,275 stations has been selected under the initiative called Amrit Bharat Station Scheme, which central government has unveiled. Now, there are a lot of locations that will be there in the major cities, tourist place, and the pilgrimages stations will be the important center that will be first taken into considerations. Now, what is Amrit Bharat Station Scheme? This has been formulated on the basis of long-term master plan to redevelop the stations according to the demand and uses of the stations, right? And the scheme aims to prepare the master plan for Indian Railways that will be implemented as a part of master plan that will enhance the facilities. And this part of the important features that is proposed under the Amrit Bharat Station Scheme include the provisions for rooftop plazas, longer platform, blastless tracks and 5G connectivity. So these are the amenities and facilities that will be included under the part of the Amrit Bharat Station schemes. Now, some gaps in the current system, definitely there's always a way of scope is there. So this gaps will definitely be fulfilled with the part of the initiative that government has recently taken. So the signage system is inconsistent and inadequate in the part of the working and its function. An internal presentation by the Ministry of Railway has pointed out that there is a lack of uniformity in some cases. To reason being, the upgrade is mandatorily required. Now, so others signage overlap the part of the advertisement not as in the usual schemes, and even some signage are not aesthetically designed to place, and either they were somewhere absent also. Emphasis has been laid in providing the intuitive signage and even as a key decision making as a points. Now, grouping of the signage की अगर बात करें, the concept has been introduced with to help computers and find their way. कुछ ऐसे important चीजें हैं जिसमें include की गई है, that include the train and travel platform, directly informations like transport interchange, navigation and stations, amenities and facilities like water and toilets, facilities like commercial facilities like restaurant, retail, and exit information will also be there, pictorial water taps and wheelchair assistance, ramps, tourist information, mobile charging points and escalator. These are some of the parts that will be included. Now, 3 stations in India has already been in the functioning, that is Rani Kamlapati, Gandhinagar Capital and Sir M. Visvesvaraya Terminal, which has been already functions with all these basic amenities. Now, moving with other news, that is the new Alzheimer drug, something important for General Studies Paper 2, that is the issues related to development and management of health. So just 5 months after the US Food and Drug Administration, which is better known as FDA, this is the highest regulatory body of the United States, that has actually granted the accelerated approval for the lencimab. This is a drug which was developed by Biogen and Eisai. And after soon the approval was given, a new company that is Eli Lilly has released a new Alzheimer treatment that is known as donanemab. So this is a new drug that will ultimately help the patients for Alzheimer across the globe. Now, efficacy of the donanemab, how it will actually going to, so this particular drug will show a significant, has actually shown, because the trial is on the way, right? And the company that is Eli Lilly has actually come up with some substantial event that this particular drug is actually helping out with the Alzheimer patients. Now, they are yet to publish some of the informations, and this has not been shared with the public domain, and peer-to-peer review is still pending, and until it is further verified with the independent research team, they will actually reveal the part of the total complete process. Now, how does this drug work? So this is not for the first time that the drug is there. The basic part of the antibodies that is there, like lencimab or donanemab की अगर बात करें, these are for the Alzheimer's. And instead, these antibiotics are targeting the part of amyloid beta protein that is called AB proteins that forms the amyloid plaques in the brain, resulting in their cognitive decline. I'll give you the image how it's actually working, because what happened in Alzheimer, there's a plaque which is formed in the brain which even impact the memory system. The drugs aims to remove the plaque which is there in the brain to slow the progressive of the diseases. Now, what is Alzheimer disease? I think most of you must be aware of the fact that the Alzheimer is a disorder that destroys the memory and provide less recognition power and eventually led to ability where even the simplest things are not carried out. The World Health Organization says that the Alzheimer disease is the most common form of dementia. What is dementia? I'll discuss this in a while in a later part of the video. Now, dementia is a seventh leading cause of the disease that measure of the disability and the part of dependency among the people globally. So old age people, because of their dementia defect, are directly reliable to, they're basically relying on some people for their basic necessities. So dementia is one of the hardest conditions to treat. Now, just to first give you the comparison on the part of the Alzheimer and dementia, how does it differ? So Alzheimer is a specific brain disease that account for 60 to 80% of dementia cases. And what is dementia? It is a general symptom like decline in memory, reasoning and other thinking skill. So this is a basic difference between Alzheimer and dementia is a part of Alzheimer. Dementia is a part of Alzheimer disease, right? Now, what does happen in human brain? You can see this is a normal human brain. And once you have a Alzheimer disease, there is a decaying of a neuron and plaque which is there. You can see these are the images of plaque that actually developed in the human brain, and the normal functioning of the human brain is not at the fullest. Now, about the Alzheimer that we have already discussed. Now, something more about the Alzheimer disease. This is the data that is presented by Alzheimer Association. It says 1 in the third of the senior citizen is a part of Alzheimer and dementia. More than 6 million people in US are facing the part of Alzheimer and dementia. This study has mostly focuses on the part of the US citizen only. And Alzheimer and dementia has death increased 16% during the COVID-19, right? So these are the other details. You can pause this video. You can read out the specific content as per your requirement. And even if you see the other countries, like 50% of the Black Americans, 42% of Native and Asians, American 34%, and these are for the data, right? So this is by Alzheimer Association 2021 data. Now, the other news, India trade deficit in April falls to lowest, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource, growth and development. So as per the initial estimates of the Ministry of Commerce and Industries, India merchandise export has sank to 12.7%, which is a 6-month low of $34.66 billion, and the import has sharply fallen to 14%, hitting at 49.90 billion. The numbers, the data are not important. You have to just know how the trend is being followed, right? Now, moving ahead, consequently, the monthly gross trade has cooled to 17% in April. That is 20-month low of the 15.24 billion, which is like 18 point in the last year with the earlier year. Subsequently, outbound shipments की अगर बात करें, this is 17.3 for the March, which is 41.9 billion, even the highest exports since June 2022. Now, what are the reasons these things are taking place? The official and the stakeholders have said that this has attributed due to the decline of export and fettering demand in the key market, that is therefore the decline of the commodity demand in the international market. Or global demand की अगर बात करें, is not looking for market like European Union or United States for next 2 or 3 months, and the demand scenario does not look very optimistic. The government would initiate the inter-ministerial talk to find the way to sustain the export momentum. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, a court recall that impacts the right of an accused, something important for General Studies paper 2 in General Studies, that is structure, organization, functions of executive and judiciary. Now, what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first talking about the theme and focus of this editorial. This focuses upon the issues of right to bail, right? And important cases like Ritu, Chhabaria versus Union of India and others, right to default bail, सुप्रीम कोर्ट की क्या इंटेंशन है जो अपने जो जजमेंट को रिवर्स करने के लिए, एंड इवन सम बॉटम लाइन, सम कंक्लूजन दैट इज एसेंशियली रिक्वायर्ड. Now, to give you the basic premise and the background of this news, recently, like the Supreme Court bench, which was headed by the Chief Justice of India, Mr. D.Y. Chandrachud, so they have ordered that the trial court and high court in the country, while considering the applications of grant of default bail under section 162 of the CRPC, shall decide same independent without relying upon the judgment of Ritu Chhabra versus Union of India. Now, in Indian judiciary system, you are until proven guilty, you are innocent, right? You are innocent until you are proven guilty. So this is what the rule of law, the rule of CRPC actually exists, and this is how the court actually functions in India, right? Now, notably for this judgment, which Honorable Supreme Court has said in the Ritu Chhabaria versus Union of India, I'll come to that judgment in a while. Before that, the Solicitor General of India has informed the top court that after the judgment that was delivered by the Honorable Supreme Court in Ritu Chhabaria versus Union of India, the central agencies like CBI, ED and other agencies are finding it difficult to proceed with the part of the convictions. And court has said that the order of the judgment shall stand deferred. तो क्या थी इस जजमेंट में जो रितु छबाड़िया के केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दिया है? Now, coming to the case, Ritu Chhabaria versus Union of India and others. In this case, the two-judge bench of the Supreme Court has said that if a charge sheet is filed on the basis of incomplete investigations, though the filed within the time, does not defeat the right of an accused to seek the bail. I'll give you the basic statement in this so that you understand it. What has actually happened, like it is a process that for any investigation, the SHO has to file a report that is called charge sheet within 60 to 90 days. These are the part of the time that is provided in the CRPC, and even the court authorized the individual or even the SHO that within this that you have to file the charge sheet, right? So the charge sheet is filed. Now, if within these days the child cell are not filed and these days are crossed, the individual is liable to get bail, right? They're liable to get bail because these are the part of ultimately the fundamental rights that is provided to an individual, right? Now, what has happened in Ritu Chhabaria versus Union of India, the court said that incomplete charge sheet which is there with the magistrate will not basically prohibit for the part of the bail that is individual can see, right? So this was the basic premise of this judgment. Now, ED ne kaha that have approached Supreme Court challenging that Delhi High Court judgment with granting the default bail of an accused based on the Ritu Chhabaria judgment, which is actually creating problem for them to further get the part of the investigation done. So the center has also filed an application seeking the recall in the Ritu Chhabaria versus the judgment. So court ने इस चीज को वापस से reverse कर दिया. They have actually abrogated that and said that yes, until and unless the investigation is not completed, you cannot proceed with the bail options, right? And even in India, getting bail is really a tougher task. We have come across a lot of data where under trial, and even though people are actually not convicted, are unable to get the bail. Once you are imprisoned, it is very tough in India to get out the bail, especially for people who cannot afford it, right? Now, even right to default bail, the right to statutory bail is even the part of the default bail that is available to an accused when investigations fails to complete. This is what I was talking about. This has to be completed within 60 to 19 days as authorized by honorable court, whether it is lower court, high court, session court, or even the Supreme Court. Now, under section 167 of the CRPC, the maximum time available is 60 to 90 days, depending upon the seriousness. I think we have discussed this. Now, the right to default bail categorized by the court in multiple judgments, and this is if indispensable where Article 21, which guaranteed individual, this is a fundamental right which call for life to personal liberty, cannot be curtailed in light that the agencies were not efficient in delivering the charge sheet. तो किसी एजेंसी के खामियां की वजह से किसी इंडिविजुअल की फंडामेंटल राइट की वॉल्यूशन नहीं हो सकती है. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने पहले जजमेंट में, रितु छबाड़िया के जजमेंट में कहा था, पोस्ट व्हेन गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज एक्चुअली सेड दैट दिस इज क्रिएटिंग प्रॉब्लम फॉर अस. सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसे डिफर्ड किया एंड सेड that no high court and lower court will take into consideration for the Ritu Chhabaria versus Union of India judgment, right? This is all the basic premises. If you get a question in mains examination, you can definitely quote this judgment. Now, Supreme Court की क्या intention रही है इस तरह के reverse करने के बाद? So, Supreme Court decision in Ritu Chhabaria has delegitimized the part of illegal practices that has been incomplete charge sheet that is filed by the police and that would not be barring any accused for the default pay. The court has emphasized that the preliminary or incomplete nature of this police report revealed that investigation was not complete. So the police, what actually the enforcement agencies, the state, what they do, actually incomplete charge sheet भी file कर दी जाती थी ताकि उसे bail ना मिल पाए, right? And further, they asked the time for supplementary and the supplementary proceeded with the actual charge sheet. This is how the court was actually functioning. Now, the bottom line and the conclusion that you can draw from all this part and even for this editorial, the decision is particularly alarming because the right to default bail is something that has been interpreted in Indian constitution, which is specifically the core signage when come to Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty, right? This could possibly be subverting the part of difficulties faced by the investigation authorities. So to a larger extent, I mean, you have to balance out within the law enforcement agencies and within the individual rights also. This is a completely catch-22 situation where the agencies and the judiciary on the part is complicated. What makes it more serious, that is the Supreme Court can agree on the deferred decision, even the default bail of an accused person that was actually decided by the Ritu Chhabaria cases. And the top court has ordered that recall of his decision in the Ritu Chhabaria case would deviate the fundamental principle of the criminal procedures that exist and within which the complete court and judicial system is actually functioning. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice about the Kangir Ghati National Park. The Kangir Ghati got the status of national park in 1982. It is located in the state of Uttarakhand. You can pause this video, read out the statement, then proceed for the correct options. Now, the second question of the day is the calling name presentation. Consider the following statement. This was proposed by TERAI, that is Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, the apex body, the nodal body taking care for the entire regulation when it comes to telecom sectors, right? The feature would provide an individual with information about the calling party. So check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more question will give you an added advantages over the upcoming prelims examination. And this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.